Hey everybody, welcome to C12 Stories. My name is Alexsi Carrasquillo. Been doing photography for better part of 15 years now. Started in about 2010 doing photography professionally. Kind of just diving into photography, how I got into it. I used to always have a camera. I used to be behind it all the time, whether it was traveling places when I was in the Navy, seeing the world, just kind of just giving a peek of people to seeing what I'm doing, what I'm looking at through my eyes, or even going further back to when I was in high school. I used to roll around with my brothers when they used to skate. They needed a camera guy to film some of their skate sessions and stuff like that. So I wasn't the biggest skater, so I was at least good enough to ride a board and follow them and get some footage. So there might be something floating out there that has been used before for some demo tapes, but yeah, you know, just always had a camera. Just always liked just taking pictures of stuff. And what really kind of got me into doing it professionally was when I was in the Navy, about 2010, I think. 2010, 2009, 2010, something like that. I was home on leave. It was 2010. It was my 10-year reunion, my high school reunion. And I was home on leave, and my brother, Chris, who's also an amazing photographer as well, probably need to have him on here. Um, just said, "Hey, I got an extra media pass to go to Voodoo Fest in New Orleans, and you want to go?" I was like, "Ah, say less, let's go." So that was like my first time doing a music festival. Yeah, he just handed me a camera and just helped him shoot, and then away we are. The way we went, really, and it was mostly doing like um, music festivals, live music, and I knew a bunch of like techno DJs here in the Austin, Texas area. Knew some people that were in bands, and yeah, and just kind of the bug just bit me then. So from there, just you know, think used to borrow my brother's camera for a good while until I finally got my own camera. My first camera was actually a Canon T3i, if I'm not mistaken. I think I bought it from a friend of mine for like $250. And I thought that was like my first like real big purchase as to being a photographer. Um, so yeah, I thought I was like, thought it was cool. Looking back, I'm thinking like, man, that camera's terrible. But yeah, it was my first kind of thing, and I started doing some things here and there. Nothing really big or paid or anything like that. Again, using that camera, and also, my brother had a good camera too, so he let me borrow it, which I'm pretty thankful for. Um, but yeah, it was just kind of from there, just started learning how to do, taking pictures of people, portraits, DJs, doing like headshots or branding stuff, work with some models and hair makeup people. Um, yeah, and then I remember, I think it was, yeah, I was just kind of hitting touch and go with music stuff, families and whatnot, and just kind of just learning as I went. I really didn't do any formal education or anything like that. I would watch videos here and there, but it was really just grabbing a camera and just learning the basics of how a camera works. I still feel like I don't know how a camera works sometimes. Um, but yeah, I just was just my mind always just likes to learn how to do stuff, and yeah, and there's a lot of growth in photography, so I'm never gonna get bored of it. There may have been a time or two where I just wanted to just throw my hands up because I just don't want to do this anymore, because I think it got to a point where I was trying to do it to make money, and it became the driving force, and then that would just kind of drive me nuts. I started doing it for the wrong reason, I guess, for money, and then whenever I was expecting to make it or trying to make it and nobody would book me or anything like that, it was just, I don't know. It takes a hit to the ego a little bit to not get a gig, or you think you're good enough to do stuff, and then all of a sudden you're not picked to do something. It's yeah, it's definitely a kick to the ego. Um, but I just kept shooting. I had some good support from people that have been where I'm at, and they're doing amazing things in their photography profession. And it's just, I remember one photographer, she had told me, just find the one thing you're good at and just do that. Um, which is good advice, but good advice for someone that just doesn't, that wants to do that. That's just not me. I can't, that would just be boring for me. just to be that one niche photographer that just does the one thing. Nothing against that. Photographers that y'all do y'all's one thing, like more power to you. Y'all do some amazing things, and y'all are definitely getting way more gigs than I am. So maybe there is something to it. But yeah, I want to learn and try and do so. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing C12 Stories because I want to see if I could even do this. And I'll get into more of what C12 Stories is all about later and how the genesis of that came about. But just that's the kind of like the basics of like how I got into photography, some of the backstory of myself doing stuff, and yeah, now it's just kind of like learning and growing to try and figure out how to do certain shoots, how to create things, how to collaborate with things. I remember my first collaborative shoot was back in, man, I want to say 2013, 14, somewhere in there. It was like a 1920s themed shoot, like a post World War II kind of thing. Not 1920s, 1930s, 40s, like post World War II shoot where I had some friends. They came out, and Corey Philo, she was amazing to do hair and makeup for 3, 4 models. I even took photos for myself. We want to reshoot that one because there was an X in that one, so I kind of want to redo those photos, maybe with my wife. I don't know, maybe she'll want to do that. So anyway, but yeah, it was just that was my first kind of like planned shoot. We met, we planned everything out, like what everybody was gonna wear and things like that, and it was cool. Like it was a fun time. At least for me, it was. Yeah, and then from there, I did another shoot. Was like Greek goddess. I really love like Greek mythology and stuff like that. So again, had friends come aboard with Corey to do hair and makeup. We did 4 different goddesses. My sister was actually in that one too. She was Hera, which was actually pretty cool. Yeah, and then from there, I've done other collaborative shoots with local models and DJs. What have you? I've done weddings. I've done families, portraits. Mini sessions, Mother's Day stuff. I mean, I don't want to say I'm like a jack of all trades because then it means you're a master of none. But I don't know. I just like to try and produce the best content when it comes to photos. When someone asks me to do photos, there are times where I feel like I nailed it and the photos come out great and they love them. And then there's other times where I feel like I just completely botched it and dropped the ball. And but I mean, that's just me being my own worst critic. And sometimes the photos don't turn out well, and that's learning. Not every shoot's going to be perfect. It's not going to have the perfect lighting, the weather, the subject that I'm shooting, whatever it is. It's taken me a long time to figure out that that's okay to not going to have a perfect shoot all the time. Sometimes that's just how it goes. It's just like, with baseball, man, like you could prep, you could do all the things. You got the best BP session before the game and you could be feeling really good and you go 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts and you're just like, that did not go as planned. So yeah, I just, doesn't mean I don't take those to heart, especially when people, pay me their money to produce photos that they want. So whenever I don't feel like I deliver or they let me know I don't deliver, I take that to heart. Like if there's anybody out there who's watching this that didn't like my photos and you want me to reshoot your photos, let me know. I'm down. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate the people that have, taken the chance to want to book me for their event, for their family photos, weddings, whatever. I mean, those are big things for people, and money's not something that I don't take just because I just want to get it done. Like I do want to produce something that they pay for, because I'm a firm believer in you get what you pay for. And I'm not saying I charge a lot. I've had people tell me that I probably should charge more. But whether it's, $50 or $150 or $2,000, $3,000, like I take it I take it seriously as much as someone with no education in photography as far as like schooling goes. It's just reps and years of just trying to get better at it, and hopefully I'm better at it the next shoot for the next person that pays me money to where I could produce something better and then learn from that shoot, so on and so forth. So yeah, and I think that's what keeps me in the realm of photography because it is something I could grow into. So um, I think um, I know going over the years of doing photography, I think, going back to the beginning, I think one of the biggest defining moments was that first Voodoo Fest with my brother that I got to shoot photos for, and like got the email that I don't know. I think it was pretty cool that I got it. I wanted. I hope I have it saved somewhere. But I got to be one of the photographers in the pit for the Foo Fighters. Back in 2010, and I was just like, oh, this is it. And that was, I would say that was probably like the biggest moment that just kind of introduced me to photography, live music, or any kind of event that's like this is actually really cool. Like this could be something that, and at the time I didn't think like, oh my god, I can make a career of this. It was just like, "No, this is cool. Like there's the Foo Fighters right there. I'm shooting photos of. I get 3 songs to do it too. Um, so yeah, that was just really cool. And then I've um, done stuff at South by Southwest, stuff at ACL. Um, I've gone to Voodoo Fest a couple times. Done did Paid Dues Music Fest many years ago. I think it was when I was in the Navy when I did that. There's other festivals that I've helped out with. Splash House in Palm Beach, California, and you know done stuff with my brother Chris and Phil from Chapter. Um, Hopefully, I can get those guys on here together because you think I got stories? Those guys got some stories, especially all the photos I did for Chapter, Golden Voice, and stuff like that. They've done some of the biggest festivals, on the planet, not just in the states. So, um, yeah, I mean, you know, stories are the thing that we go to the movies for, we watch TV for, um, we read books, because someone has the ability to be able to harness a fantasy or retell something that's been done in history. And that's where C12 Stories comes into play. I've been able to meet and work with and shoot photos of some amazing people in the time that I've been shooting photos. And, in a time of, doing multiple shoots with them or doing a wedding and going about their journey or learning or like meeting their family for the first time. Some of them I did family photos for them, and then now they're friends today. Um, but they all have great stories, that I've gotten to, I'm blessed to know. And I'm hoping I could get a lot of them on here to let them tell their stories, like I'm doing with mine right now. And so yeah, with C12 Stories, it's just, I believe the power of story can really move mountains. It's very powerful. Some people that are going to come on here are going to have some really powerful stories. Um, some of them are going to be some very heavy topics. Some of them are going to be fun. Some of them are going to be baseball related. Some of them are going to be techno related because I love techno music. They're going to be about video games. There's going to be a wild array of people on this thing, and and before I even thought about doing this and actually finally recording this, I always just kept putting it off for years. There was always a tab on my website, C12 Stories, and it was coming soon. So I finally decided to rip off the Band-Aid and let's do it. Like, it's never going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. So we're just going to do this thing, and we're going to listen to some awesome stories together. We're going to, I'm going to learn a lot more about these people that I thought I thought I knew everything about, and there's going to be stuff that I'm going to be learning along with you guys. So it's gonna be really fun. Like I'm really excited for this. It's been a passion project in my head for the longest time, and I'm finally, you know, have the opportunity to do it. Thankful to Sky Productions and the studio that we're here. at Unity Combat. Um, so I'm just, all the things have lined up to where, if not now, when. So yeah, I'm tired of it being a tab on my website. So let's just we're gonna do this and go for it. So um, and in that with my photography journey, um, you know, C12 photography has always been photography, content production, and storytelling. I feel like I've been able to do two of those three things. Storytelling hasn't been one of those. And I mean, I guess in a sense, I have told stories through my photography, especially with more recent shoots that I've done, just trying to create an atmosphere that when you look at the photo, you could kind of like see what you can kind of like tell what the story is through the photography, kind of like through the lens of the camera. Um, so yeah, I just can't thank you guys enough for even taking the time to watch this. Um, you know, not here to do this to do the typical like, subscribe, ring the bell, none of that. Like I'm not doing that for I'm not doing it for the likes and follows or trying to get anything monetary about this. I truly want to do this because it's a passion of mine. It's also kind of a challenge to see if I could even do this kind of thing. Um, this is the first thing I've put my face with the logo that's behind me. Because most of the time people see my Instagram, my website, my Facebook page, whatever. They see C12 photography and they see my work and they comment. They love my photos or they want to book me for whatever. And if it's on Facebook, they'll see me tag my website and then they see me a picture of me, my wife, and my stepdaughter in there. But then they think my wife is the photographer. So when they message me on Facebook, they say, "Oh, hey girl, I love your photography. Can we talk about booking a session?" And then the awkward phone call whenever they hear a guy's voice calling them saying, "Yeah, this is Alexi from C12 Photography." Like, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were a girl." So they probably booked me because out of just they feel terrible that they thought, you know, uh, that I was a girl doing the photography, or it was my wife that was me. So I don't know. um, so yeah, it was just and that's another scary thing about being vulnerable and just doing this is just yeah, I mean, putting my face to it. um Not that I was ever afraid to do that. It was just I just always believed that my work and what I produce for photographically should just be the reason why you hire me, not because you know me, you like me, or why you don't hire me because you don't like me, this face, or you don't like me personally. Like, I'm pretty sure I've done a lot of things in my life that people dislike me for, which, that's a whole nother episode, which I'm hoping I could, go more deep into that, but I want to try and keep this about photography. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's, just like, you know, it's definitely one of those things that it makes me appreciate people that do the performative things that people watch them all the time. Like performative arts like dancers, contemporary or ballet, or musicians, artists, bands. I mean, heck, even hairstylists, models. All the people that we're gonna have on here. Really, they do put themselves in those in front of you positions that I've never done. Like, I've always just been like, I'm the guy behind the camera. Like, I don't want pictures of me and stuff like that. So, um, so maybe this will kind of help me break out of my shell to, want to do more stuff like this and grow from there. I have a lot of other passions. I, play baseball here in a men's league here in town in the Austin Metro Baseball League. I'm the player manager for the Generals Baseball Club. And, who knows, maybe if this works out, we could do a baseball podcast. I love wrestling. So we could do a wrestling podcast. I don't know. I don't even know if I like podcast, the name podcast. I just want to just keep it stories. Like, that's what we're trying to tell here anyway. So, not that I'm against podcasts. I listen to them all the time. It's just, maybe that's a little pride thing happening. I just want to be something different. Um, but I'm still doing the same thing everybody else is doing. So, um, but yeah, I just really hope that this, yeah, the C12 Stories is just an opportunity for the people that I have planned to come on, and then in the future to come on. Um, yeah, just to tell their story, just to put their words to the photos that I've taken of them at events or even like styled shoots that we've done together. Um, yeah, man, I'm super pumped about this. I'm nervous about this. I'm excited. Uh, I almost didn't record this episode today because I was just trying to make up excuses in my mind. I even called my wife to try and come up with an excuse to come home early, which she probably wouldn't mind. But no, I just say I said I was gonna do this, and I need to stay committed to it. So this is therapeutic for me, to be able to say I'm gonna do something and follow through, and I'm really excited. We every month, on the 12th, if I could figure out how to do it at 12:12 p.m. every day, well, yeah, new episodes gonna be coming out. So definitely gonna be a little bit longer than what we're talking about here today. Probably shortening this because I don't want to talk about myself too much, because this isn't about me per se. It's about me pursuing stories of people that I've come across with in my life, in my photography life and journey, that just have really cool stories of just like what they're doing now, how they got into it, why they're passionate about it, projects that they have coming up, and what have you. And yeah, I'm super, super excited to finally do this. Yeah, and it's just kind of nothing, no more words can be said about it. So, with that said, I thank you for joining me on this journey of C12 Stories. Our first episode after this one is going to be a really good one, so I cannot wait to have her on and let her tell her story, because she has an amazing story. So most of you, if we follow the same circles, y'all already know who she is. You know a lot of her story, but it's going to be really awesome to hear like her words, tell a deeper and fuller story about herself if you didn't know a lot of it already. So yeah, we got, we're gonna touch a lot of people with these stories. Hopefully motivate some people to tell their stories. Because again, the power of story is real. It's something that could change someone's life if you just tell it. So again, thank you guys so much for this. I know it's kind of like a cheat to put myself as episode 1, but you'll hear a little bit more about my life as we talk to a lot of these people in the rest of the year, and definitely you'll get more episodes from me about different parts of my life that I want to talk about. So, but yeah, just thankful for your time, guys. Thankful for Unity Combat, Sky for hooking it up with this awesome studio. I just you can't do this by yourself. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to do this and finally to make this happen. So again, not going to be perfect. I'm not even striving for perfection. Just going to try and progress through this to make this something that's palatable for everybody. Because it's just you'll see. It's going to be a good time. So just join me on this journey, and we'll have a good time together. So again, thank you so much for everybody taking the time to watch this first episode of C12 Stories. Thanks.